Is that excitement, like all the things?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt anxiety for the past, however many months, and I'm really nervous, but I'm also excited because this is new, this is fresh, so I don't really know how to feel. I'm feeling all the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Riley Burruss shook the internet when she stepped forward and told the world what life was really like growing up in the Burruss household. For fans who thought they knew the Real Housewives star and her daughter, Riley's confession was like a lightning strike. It lit up everything that had been hidden in the shadows. But as powerful as Riley's words were, what happened next was just as shocking. Kandi responded. Except, her response wasn't what people expected. No apology, no full explanation, just a few carefully chosen words in interviews and some vague social media posts that fans quickly started picking apart. And now, all eyes are back on Riley. So how does Riley feel about Kandi's public reaction? Did she get the closure she wanted? Or did Kandi's silence only prove her point? While Riley hasn't made a formal follow-up statement, fans and insiders are already speculating, and based on everything we know about Riley's past and her original confession, we have a pretty good idea of what she's thinking. Because this story isn't over. In fact, it's just heating up. When Riley's emotional story first hit the internet, people waited for Kandi Burruss to speak out. After all, this wasn't just social media drama, it was a deeply personal story about her own daughter feeling neglected and unheard. But instead of jumping online to defend herself or clear the air, Kandi stayed mostly silent. No fiery tweet, no teary livestream, just a few words here and there during interviews. Words that didn't directly name Riley, but still left fans raising their eyebrows. In one moment, Kandi said that people forget celebrities are human, and that mistakes happen. That might sound like a general statement, but for many fans, it felt like a subtle nod to the situation with Riley. Some called it classy, others called it calculated. What made things worse was that Kandi didn't show the same urgency for her daughter as she often does in public feuds or clapbacks. Fans are quick to point out that when castmates throw shade or gossip blogs talk mess, Kandi usually claps back without hesitation. But when Riley spoke from the heart, her mom stayed quiet. That's when speculation began. Was this silence a sign of guilt? Or was it part of a bigger PR move? According to some gossip blogs, people close to Kandi say she felt blindsided. They claim she thought these issues were private and didn't understand why Riley went public. But whether Kandi was hurt, shocked, or just being cautious, her slow and vague response left more questions than answers. And the person with the biggest question of all? Riley. After everything Riley shared with the world about feeling neglected, silenced, and treated like a product, you would think her mom's response would bring some sort of peace. But instead of comfort, Kandi's vague and indirect reaction may have only deepened the emotional divide between them. Fans believe Riley was hoping for more than a few carefully worded phrases in interviews. She spoke from a place of pain, not for attention, but to be heard. And what she got in return was what many are calling a strategic move, a response that protected the image but didn't protect the relationship. Insiders and fan pages have started buzzing with claims that Riley is disappointed, maybe even heartbroken all over again. Some gossip blogs suggest she felt like her mother still doesn't fully understand how deep the hurt runs. Others believe she's keeping a distance, trying to avoid another emotional blow by staying silent and focus on herself. There's even talk that Riley might even be preparing something behind the scenes, a private interview, a full-on sit-down, or maybe she'll stay quiet forever. Either way, the energy around her has shifted, and fans can feel it. This silence, it's not peace, it's tension. While Riley hasn't publicly responded to Kandi's reaction, the speculation around her next move is growing louder. And whether the rumors are true or not, they speak to something deeper. Fans sense that Riley is still carrying a heavy emotional weight. If she truly feels let down by her mother's carefully worded response, this could be the moment that shapes how she chooses to move forward, not just with Kandi, but with the public, the spotlight, and the part of her identity tied to the Burruss brand. What makes this situation so heartbreaking is that it's not just about a disagreement, it's about emotional damage that's been building for years. Riley's original confession revealed years of bottled up pain, including moments where she felt invisible, misunderstood, and completely unsupported by her own mother. Now, add Kandi's lukewarm response to that, and it's not hard to imagine how Riley might feel. From the outside, fans once thought they were watching a tight mother-daughter duo navigating fame together, but according to Riley, that was just the surface. Behind the glam in the Instagram posts were years of silence, pressure, and emotional loneliness. So when Kandi responded to her daughter's heartbreak with a few vague statements and some carefully crafted appearances, it probably didn't bring Riley any real comfort. In fact, it likely confirmed just how far apart they've grown. And that's what makes this fallout so painful to watch. This isn't a social media spat or a temporary feud. It's a deep wound that keeps getting reopened, especially every time Riley sees her mom prioritize image over intimacy. To some, this may seem like a simple misunderstanding, but for Riley, this might be the moment that proves healing won't come easy. It might never come at all. One thing Riley had made clear in her original confession was that growing up in the Burruss household didn't feel like growing up in a normal family. It felt like growing up inside a business. And now that her mom has responded with carefully measured words, it's easy to see why Riley might believe nothing has changed. For years, Kandi built a powerful public image: business mogul, Grammy-winning songwriter, reality TV star, and supermom. Every move she made was strategic, and when Riley spoke out, that image was suddenly at risk. So instead of directly addressing the hurt, Kandi leaned into what she knew best: controlling the narrative. That's what fans are saying, that this wasn't about Riley's pain, it was about saving face. From brand partnerships to TV deals, Kandi has a lot to protect. And by keeping things vague, she avoided creating a media storm that could scare off future opportunities. But from Riley's side, that silence could feel like yet another betrayal. Not because her mom didn't respond, but because she responded like a CEO, not a parent. Some unconfirmed reports suggest that Riley saw this coming, that she knew once the story went public, her mom would choose strategy over softness. Whether those claims are true or not, it's clear that Riley's confession wasn't just about the past, it was a test. And how Kandi responded may have confirmed exactly what Riley feared all along. This isn't just a breakdown between a mother and daughter, it's a breakdown between two people who are raised by and shaped by the spotlight. From the moment Riley could talk, the cameras were rolling, and while the audience saw family vacations, sweet moments, and mother-daughter bonding on Bravo, Riley saw something very different behind the scenes. She saw the pressure to always smile, to behave a certain way, to stay quiet, even when things didn't feel right at home. And now, with everything out in the open, Riley may feel like she's not just fighting for her voice, she's fighting for her truth. Kandi's public silence is being interpreted in two different ways. To her supporters, it's maturity. It's choosing privacy over pettiness. But to Riley, and to many fans, it's another reminder that the spotlight will always matter more than the emotional mess behind it. And that's the tragedy here. Riley wasn't asking to go viral. She wasn't looking to start a war. She was asking for her mom to see her, hear her, and choose her. Not the brand, not the fans, not the optics, just her. Whether they can rebuild that connection is still unknown. But one thing is clear, Riley has already lost her trust in the picture-perfect version of her family, and that trust won't be easy to earn back. Before we dive into what Riley might say next, take a second to support the channel. If you made it this far, you're clearly invested in the story behind the headlines, and that's what we do here. We're on a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers, and right now, we're at 375 plus. Thank you so much. The crazy thing is, 99% of viewers still aren't subscribed. So if you want more deep dives into the untold stories behind celebrity drama, especially ones like this that go way beyond the surface, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming next. As always, let's grow this together. Thank you for watching, and now back to the video. With the internet still buzzing and Kandi's response under a microscope, fans were wondering if Riley's staying quiet for a reason. Is she regrouping? Planning her next move? Or has she simply decided that silence is safer? Some believe a second wave is coming, maybe a YouTube video, a podcast appearance, or even a collaboration with someone in the media space who's willing to let Riley speak freely. If that happens, it could either spark reconciliation or burn the bridge for good. If Riley were to speak again, what would she say? Would she ask for a public apology? Would she explain how her mother's latest response only proved her point? Or would she simply shut the door and walk away from it all? The possibilities are wide open, but one thing's for sure, Riley's next move will define how this story is remembered. Right now, she's the one holding the power, not through interviews or headlines, but through the weight of her truth. And the longer she waits, the more powerful that truth becomes. Right now, it's not just Kandi's silence that has people talking. Riley's silence is starting to echo just as loudly. After her emotional confession shook the internet, many thought Riley would continue speaking out, especially once her mom offered those carefully worded responses. But instead, Riley's gone quiet, not in a way that feels dismissive, but in a way that feels deliberate. And that silence, it's starting to feel heavier than any post or interview ever could. Some believe Riley's silence is a form of protection. She said what needed to be said, and maybe she's learned that repeating herself won't make her mom hear her any louder. Others think she's regrouping, letting things settle, watching how her mother navigates the fallout before deciding whether it's worth reopening those wounds. Her silence now mirrors the one that hurt her in the most, Kandi's. But the difference is, Riley's feels reflective, like she's building emotional boundaries, not walls. And there's a kind of power in that. Sometimes staying quiet doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace over another painful performance. Still, some close to the situation believe Riley's not done. There are whispers about a larger project or a future appearance that would allow her to speak on her terms, not just react. If that's true, her silence now might be more like a pause, a breath before the next big moment. Either way, Riley's current silence holds weight, and it's forcing everyone to ask, what's louder? The mother who spoke in riddles, or the daughter who said everything, and then nothing at all? This story isn't just shaping Riley's future, it's beginning to cast a long shadow over Kandi Burruss' legacy, and the ripple effects are just getting started. For years, Kandi was the definition of a self-made woman, respected in the music industry, admired in the business world, and beloved on reality TV. She was the one who handled her business, protected her peace, and kept her family close, all while making money and breaking barriers. But now, one thing threatens to unravel that tightly woven image: her daughter's pain. The emotional damage Riley revealed wasn't about petty drama. It was about growing up without emotional protection, about being made to feel like a piece of her brand instead of a loved child. And when Kandi responded with vague statements and no direct acknowledgement, people began to question if the image they brought into was just a well-managed illusion. Fans are now split. While some say every family has issues and Kandi should be given space to process, others say silence isn't an option when your own daughter is breaking down. Some even feel that Kandi's brand, once seen as empowering, is now starting to feel hollow. It's hard to promote family-first values when your daughter feels forgotten. And that's what's at stake here. Kandi's public silence isn't just a PR strategy. It could redefine how the world sees her. Will she be remembered as a powerhouse mom who overcame everything? Or as someone who let image win over intimacy? The longer this drags on without real healing, the harder that question becomes harder to ignore. In the beginning, it was Riley Burruss who spoke out, raw and unfiltered, shaking that carefully built image of the Burruss family. Now, it's her silence that speaks volumes. Kandi Burruss, once praised for being a strong, outspoken mother, responded not with warmth or clarity, but with caution. And now the world is watching Riley all over again, waiting to see how she responds to that caution, or if she even will. This isn't about a celebrity family dealing with drama. It's about the complicated truth behind public personas, where love and loyalty sometimes get blurred by cameras, contracts, and image control. Riley's journey, whether it continues in the spotlight or in silence, is forcing people to rethink what family really looks like behind the fame. For some, this is a story of heartbreak. For others, it's a wake-up call about how emotional neglect can hide behind designer clothes and viral posts. Either way, fans are no longer looking at the Burruss brand the same way. They're not asking what went wrong. They're wondering if anything was ever right in the first place. And if Kandi thought the worst was over, she might want to think again. Because if Riley does choose to speak again, it won't be out of revenge. It'll be out of survival. And maybe, finally, for healing. But until that moment comes, one thing is clear. This silence, it's not closure. It's the calm before whatever comes next.